Hey, you guys, it's No Cap Sunday on a Monday. I did intend to record yesterday. I had my notes and everything ready. But once I got home and I started working in the yard and I started cooking, I was too tired. So, sorry, you guys. So, you have No Cap Monday instead of No Cap Sunday. Anyways, so yesterday our scripture came from Matthew 25:14 through 30. And the title was, now, let me tell you, me and my sister both were trying to catch the title, and it's not like you can yell out to the pastor, what was your title again? So it was either seeking the opportunity, seize opportunity, or seize opportunity. We couldn't really get it. And I didn't ask him yesterday at dinner, so sorry. But if you're familiar with this passage of scripture in Matthew chapter 25:14 through 30, it is a parable. And it's basically talking about how different workers were given different amounts. In my Bible, it reads gold. Okay. So one may have been given 3 pieces of gold. Someone else may have been given 2 pieces of gold. And one was given 1 piece of gold. And they were all given different, amounts. And so one of the first topics that the pastor touched on was how when you read that, it's like, well, that doesn't seem right. They're all workers. That doesn't seem fair. And he, in his eloquent way, basically was saying life isn't fair. All of us know that, sometimes things don't go our way. And most of the time when things are not going our way, we start to say, well, that's not fair. We start as little kids saying, well, that's not fair, and most of our parents will tell us, well, you'll be all right. Life isn't fair. Okay. We do teach about fairness and things like that, but we also, in some circumstances where you have to be fair, but life just isn't fair. That's not the way it always works out. But he also touched on how we should not start to self-pity because of that unfairness, okay? Not to whine about it and, look at the other person and be like, well, why are they getting that and I don't get this? And we've all been in that place before. I think that I've talked about that before, how it can be hard to not look at someone else and say, well, why are they able to do this and do that and I'm struggling? Okay. Well, so another point that he added onto that, no, life is not fair, but God is just in his decisions. And one thing that came to mind for me when he said that was how sometimes things work out with less. And you have to see that that's just God working, okay? And that is what I thought about when I thought about him saying God is a just God. Life isn't fair, but God is just, okay? And his justness levels out so much in your life that we can't concentrate on those things that we think of as unfair, okay? And so that stood out quite a bit for me. He also talked about us having numerous talents, okay? And how sometimes we just focus on that one because we think that's it, but we have several talents, several gifts that God has given us. And when you think about gifts, sometimes far as in relation to Christianity, we just think about, oh, that person can really sing. That's a gift. That's a talent. They can really play. They can really do this. But we also have other gifts, whether it be friendships, being able to interact well with others, love, all those different things. Those are gifts, okay? We don't often think of it that way. And that's something that the pastor brought up. Something else that he touched on was being accountable for your own actions. A lot of times we're worried about what the next person is doing so much that we're not seeking God and asking him, so what do I need to do? What do I need to do to be better, to improve myself? Or even sometimes we're needing to get better in order to receive a certain blessing, to be at the right place at the right time. And sometimes we're just not ready for what we're asking for. Okay. And that's part of God's justness. It's like, you're not ready for that. And you don't even know that you're not ready for it. And I've touched on that somewhere. You think that you're ready for something, but you're not. You still need some grooming. I'm sorry, they four-wheel a lot out here. And so that's just one of those things that we have to think about. You know, hey, God, what do I need to do to better myself? What do I need to do? You know, instead of worrying about what somebody else got going, worry about, you know, what you need to do. A while back, I love watching the little videos, and little kids are so cute. And this little girl probably big now, but one of my favorite videos is where the dad keeps asking the little girl, you know, hey, you need me to help you with that? And she's like, no, I'm okay. Worry about yourself. You know, worry about, in this particular instance, worry about yourself. Worry about what you need to be doing. Okay? Worry about what you need to grow. And don't worry about what somebody else has going, you know, what they need to be doing. You know, we probably all have experienced this on either end, where the preacher may have preached something and you're like, oh, that person really need to be here to hear that. You needed to hear it too. Okay? So that's something else that he touched on. And lastly, I mean, and he touched on a lot, but the last thing that stood out for me was we all are accountable for ourselves. We all have to give account for what we do in our actions. We don't give account for anybody else's actions, but we're accountable for ourselves and what we do as individuals. We all have to stand before the throne of God and give account for what we've done and what we haven't done. And I thought that was a really amazing thing to remind us of, because sometimes we forget that we're going to have to give account for what we do and the decisions that we make, and the things that we have going on, you know, while we're in this earthly body. And so one of the things, I'm sorry, my daughter is distracting me with all this noise. Kennedy, close your door. I'm trying to record. First it was the husband, now it's her. So that was those were some of the points that were made, you know, for the sermon yesterday. I hope that you guys got something out of it. Go and read that parable. It really is an interesting parable, and you can get so many meaningful things from it. I hope you guys have started off great for your week. Sorry about the interruptions, but I hope that you still were able to follow along and just kind of get some of the main points that I got out of the sermon yesterday. Have a good day.